Okay folks, welcome to another 8 and 16-bit face-off kerfuffle. Now today's game is Impact, a title released in 1988 by Audiogenic. Now as you can see here, it's a bat and ball game. Now this was cashing in on the popularity of Arkanoid, which was released in the arcade. Now I believe, I'm saying I believe, I don't know. No, I think Arkanoid did get a release on home consoles before this game came out, but Arkanoid was really popular, and of course other games followed. There was quite a few of these on the home systems. So this first version we're looking at is on the Commodore 64. Now this is actually programmed by a friend of mine's, Steve Snake. I mean, graphically wise, you know, these games are not going to be a challenge. It's coloured rectangles. There's nothing overly challenging. I'm sure even a ZX81 could do something similar, albeit without the colour. But yeah, this looks really nice. I like the kind of little star fields in the background. It just kind of helps to enhance it. Now you see there at the bottom right, you've got a little sort of inventory of different power-ups. Now, it's been a long time since I played this. Similar to Arkanoid, when you break or hit certain bricks, they reveal a little power-up thing. I'm not quite sure what these things are. They look like little spinning letter U's. Now, unlike Arkanoid, I think Impact allows you to have more than one power up, because at the moment I've got sticky ball, which means, or sticky bat I should say. The ball will stick to the bat, and I've also got the elongated bat as well, and you can actually move the ball along the sort of base of the bat. Depending on where it sits on the bat will sort of determine what angle it takes. And exactly like Arkanoid, you've got all number of little baddies that just kind of float about, and generally they're a pain in the arse. They just get in the way, they don't kill you as such, but the ball will bounce off them and take a kind of deflection. Now I don't know, that sound does sound kinda... it sounds like it's been digitised. I don't know what it is. It's probably not, because I mean, Steve is a really clever programmer. I'm sure that's probably built-in sound. And there we go. That was the C64. Next one is the Amstrad. Now, for some weird reason, I couldn't get the joystick to work in this one. So we're going to have to play this with keys. Now, I should have said, no pun intended, straight off the bat, these bat and ball games really need to be played with an analog controller. You know, whether it's a mouse or ideally a spinner. But with these home ports, you know, well, apart from the 16-bit ones, obviously, you're having to rely on keys or joystick, which isn't really the best for them because they're digital. And like the C64 one, this is lovely and colourful and bright. It's got some decent sound as well. Amstrad does have a really colourful palette, which does make some games look really nice. Because it's been a long time since I played this game. I think the last time I actually played this was probably 1980 something. That was how long ago I had this. The first version of this I played was on the Atari ST. This game's fine when the ball's going slow, but once the power or once the speed starts ramping up, it just gets uncontrollable. Even Arcade Arkanoid with a spinner gets just ridiculously tough, especially when the balls or the bricks you're trying to break are quite near, so you've got very, very little time to try and react. Oh, close. Ah, there we go. That's Amstrad. Right from one colourful version of the game to what I would expect to be quite a not so colourful one. This is a ZX Spectrum. There is no question that this is the Spectrum one, yeah. I mean, colourful wise, it's not bad. It's obviously got less colours. Again, I'm using the keys here, which isn't really great. You can see there they've changed the layout of the icons from a sort of grid of a square grid to kind of stacking them in a column. Not that that affects the gameplay in any shape or form. Now, ironically, probably the best bat and ball game in the Spectrum was a game that was actually given away as a freebie. It was on a cover tape, and it's called Batty. And yeah, it was the full game was given away. I think, and I might be talking rubbish. You can tell me if I am. I'm sure when they realised just how popular Batty was and what a brilliant game it was, I think they then went on to actually release it as a commercial product, which is a bit mental. They probably didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, and due to the reception of the people that bought the game or bought the magazine, they thought, wait a minute, we could actually make some money out of this, and so they went on to release it as a commercial game, and that is generally regarded as the sort of definitive Arkanoid type clone, even better than the original Arkanoid on the Spectrum. Very quintessential Spectrum sound effects, as you would expect. There you go. Now, this is the version that I remember. This is on the Atari ST. Now, this did use digitised sound, which you can hear. Now, what was interesting was when this game came out, Arkanoid had already been released. Now, this looks like a homebrew game. It looks like somebody's knocked this up in their bedroom rather than Arkanoid, which looked polished. And Arkanoid did look like an arcade game, which obviously it was. And I says this game looked like something you'd get on a freeware game. But it's the playability of this game that really, really shines through. I think what makes it look not as nice as Arkanoid is Arkanoid did deploy a sort of a pseudo bas relief style kind of graphic, and when you hit bricks, you would get a little kind of shimmering effect, whereas this one is just kind of solid blocks, so it doesn't look as nice. But you know what? It doesn't really matter because these games, it's all about the playability, and yeah, this was great. What did I prefer this? I don't know if I preferred this to Arkanoid. I mean, Arkanoid on the Atari ST was a really, really good game, as it was in the Commodore Amiga. But this game was definitely easier because you got power-ups a lot more readily. And like I said earlier on, you could also have multiple power-ups, which did make the game more playable. Sound effects are minimal, I'm sure they were digitised. But you know, graphically wise, this is not pushing the host machine at all. would probably even go so far as to say that the Amstrad one probably looked nicer than this. This game reminds me, the sound effects in this game reminds me of a very early game on the Nintendo DS. I can't for the life of me remember what sorry, what was it called? Electroplankton. It was a game in the DS, and you made patterns, and you could make little sound effects, and the sound effects in this do remind me of that game. I know I've gone off on a complete tangent, but check YouTube out, do Electroplankton, Plankton Nintendo DS, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Right, and this is a Commodore Amiga one. Differences between this and the Atari ST. The sound effects are a bit clearer on this version. Slightly crisper looking, sounding even. Yeah, I mean, you can tell they didn't exactly spend a lot of time on the graphics, because why would you need to? You know, it's a bat and ball game at the end of the day. The sound as well is minimal. There's no music to speak of other than a little ditty at the start, and even the sound effects are just like a MIDI type thing, very very basic. But where this game really does shine is the playability, and that's what games should be. It shouldn't be about graphics. If a game looks beautiful but plays completely shite, then it's not a good game in my opinion. So yeah, there we go. That is the 4 versions, 5 versions even. C64. C64 was really nice, looked great, didn't look that much dissimilar from the Amiga Atari ST. The Amstrad one looked probably the nicest actually in my opinion. Sound effects, there's nothing much to choose between them. Spectrum one did lack sound and colour, but if you're going to play one, go for one, either the Amiga or Atari ST, because it does have the mouse control. And as always folks, thank you so much for watching.